Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
Hey there, how are you doing? Welcome to episode 256 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison. Thank you for joining me for your regular dose of proven practical tips and advice on growing your membership business. Today, we're talking about membership content and specifically why every single membership site owner needs to spend time focusing on finding ways to improve and enhance the content that they offer inside their membership. Now, there's a well-known phrase, people come for the content, but they stay for the community. That was actually a phrase that was coined by a woman by the name of Vanessa DeMauro about 10-15 years ago. It was actually said in relation to social media and just general online communities. However, it's a statement that is as true today as it's always been, and that trend can be observed in memberships of all shapes and sizes in all sorts of industries. However, while the community aspect of most memberships is the glue that holds things together, that definitely doesn't mean you can slouch when it comes to creating content. I think sometimes people hear that phrase, members join for the content, but they stay for the community, and they almost use that as an excuse for lackluster content, which is definitely the wrong approach. Now, your membership content might consist of courses, live webinars, Q&A calls. Maybe it's more deliverables like perks and offers, tools and software, templates, checklists, action plans, tutorials, interviews, hot seat calls, or more likely a combination of several of the above and a whole bunch of stuff we've now talked about. It's premium content. These are the deliverables you're offering to your members, and you'll typically be releasing something new on a regular basis. Now, people join your membership because they have a goal that they want to achieve or an outcome that they're seeking. And it's your content, in most cases, that is going to get them there. But with so many plates to spin when running a membership site, it is easy to settle for good enough when it comes to creating that content, especially with the whole angle, the whole approach of people come for content but stay for community. That combined with just how much work it takes to create content can definitely lead to a little bit of complacency and people slouching a bit on the content side. So I wanted to take this opportunity today to look at why it's important to not do that, and instead to make sure you're focusing on improving your content, as well as give you some examples and steps to start this process of improvement within your own membership. So I keep saying improving content, enhancing content. What do I mean by that? Well, when I talk about improving your content, I'm referring not only to the new content that you create for your site from here on out, but also to enhancing any past content, any existing content you already have. And this essentially comes down to just putting more thought and effort into making your content richer, more useful, and more likely to get the results that your members join for. Our overall aim is to be creating content which is higher quality, more accessible, and more effective. And so if we focus on these three core areas when we're looking for opportunities to enhance our existing content, as well as changing our approach to creating new content, this will lead to a wide range of benefits for your membership. There are big benefits to improving your membership content. First and foremost, it helps you to differentiate your offering. By providing richer content, you stand out from all the Me Too memberships, which are all offering the same sort of thing as each other. It also means you're providing increased value, so your members will value higher quality content far more than a higher quantity of content that is simply adequate. Quality trumps quantity every single time. It also, improving our content can result in a more polished, more comprehensive, and more cohesive user experience. Better, more accessible content makes for a far smoother and far more enjoyable, rewarding member journey. It also means you can cater to different learning styles, so the way in which people prefer to learn and prefer to consume will vary amongst your members. So investing time in enhancing your content and expanding it across different mediums and formats will help members to learn more effectively. Improving your membership content can lead to increased engagement and consumption. High quality, accessible, compelling content will hook your members in more and increase how many people actually consume what you create. And higher engagement leads to better retention. It also improves the chances that you'll get better results for your members. If your improved, enhanced content helps to increase the chance members will get a positive outcome, they'll reward you for that with their loyalty. Having a process of improving your content also enables you to stay up to date and relevant. Doubling down on your commitment to better content should include spending time refreshing and updating any content which has become out of date. So that helps to keep your membership on the cutting edge of your market, which again makes it more compelling to your existing members. And actually, if you improve the standard of your membership content, this leads to there being less pressure to create new content or as much new content. We know how important it is to feed the beast in terms of providing fresh content, fresh deliverables to members. However, revamping your existing piece of content can sometimes be even better, to be of even greater value to your members than releasing something new. So how do you actually improve your membership content? First way you can do that is to update or to refresh something that has gone out of date. So if your membership is based around a technical topic that involves tools and software that are continuously evolving, or maybe it's a specific topic where it's a fast-moving world, it's a fast-moving industry, there's always a lot to keep up with, then chances are the content that you're creating will regularly go out of date. If the changes in your field have been minimal, then you can improve your content and ensure it stays timely simply by providing an addendum, an additional note, maybe an extra lesson in a course, for example, which addresses the specific changes that have occurred since the content was originally published. However, at some point, you may find that the majority of a course or a workshop that you've created in the past has been rendered useless by how out of date it is, in which case recreating it either entirely from scratch or just re-recording the parts that are specifically outdated enables you to basically re-release this as a fresh piece of content updated for the current day. So by doing that, you're raising the level, you're raising the standard of your overall membership content by updating and refreshing that out of date stuff. Another way to improve your membership content is providing additional formats for your content. People learn in different ways. Some people are very visual. They work better with video or rich media. Others learn better when listening to audio, while others do best with plain old text. So to this end, your content can be made vastly more valuable to your entire member base through the addition of multiple formats. So if you've recorded a video course, you could strip out the audio and make that available for download. Then you could go a step further and have the audio transcribed using a service like rev.com. You can put that full transcription on a page, or you can edit it into a more readable format. You can maybe then also create worksheets or set up activities to accompany these lessons or these workshops. Altogether, that results in a comprehensive set of different options to better cater to multiple styles. So rather than a single video lesson, you have a rich multimedia interactive lesson, a learning experience that is going to be so much more valuable to your member base. Another way of improving your content is to accompany it with a list of related resources. So wherever possible, if you can include a list of regularly updated resources to go alongside each of your courses or tutorials or other content, that can be a great way of giving members some next steps or some additional material that they can use to round out what they've learned or to take things further. So these resources might actually just be additional content within your own membership. So maybe when someone has completed a particular course, you could include links to the next courses that would be useful for them to take. Or maybe one of your lessons briefly mentions a particular strategy or particular subject that perhaps it doesn't make sense to dive into during that particular lesson, but in your resources list, you could link to something that actually goes into that subject in a lot more detail as an optional thing that someone can look into a little later. You might even provide links to other people's content too, if it makes sense. The simple act of curating this content on behalf of your members and pointing them towards things that will enhance their learning experience and perhaps speed up their ability to get a result or to implement what they've learned, that provides added value and added convenience to them as well. And sometimes simply making sure that that list of related resources is kept up to date is enough to keep an older piece of content fresh. The core material might not need to be updated, but if you're just periodically making sure that you're enhancing this related resources list with the latest, most useful content, the latest thinking and so on, then that is a good way of keeping up with any changes in a particular subject area or industry. Another way of improving your content is to actually connect into your community to encourage discussion of specific pieces of content, specific courses and so on. So this is where the power of your community comes into play, when you connect it directly to your content. So if you have a discussion forum, you could create a dedicated section or even individual dedicated threads for each item of content in your membership, each course, each workshop, or whatever. Doing this enables discussion to take place just around that piece of content so members can ask follow-up questions. They can clarify anything from your courses or workshops that they're unsure of. They can compare notes and progress with other members. They can hold each other accountable. They can report back on the results that they've got. This is something that works better where you do have an on-site forum, where you can have threads, you can have specific topics that you then link to from individual pieces of content. But if you're not using a forum, theoretically you could still do it with Facebook posts and then just link to a particular post. Or maybe if you're using one of the newer options within Facebook to create units, then you can link to that. Or even if you're running your membership on WordPress, you can just use regular WordPress comments so that members can post their questions and any discussion around specific content. Conducting surveys of your members, again, this is something that factors in a big way to the process of improving your content. One of the biggest benefits of running a membership is that you have a built-in focus group. So it makes sense that you tap into that resource and base your ideas for new content on the feedback you get from existing members. If you're not surveying members and asking them what they want in terms of content, you absolutely should be. And for that matter, you should also survey non-members and ex-members too. Naturally, you'd be asking them slightly different questions. For example, what content or courses would encourage you to join? What content or courses would have encouraged you to stay? And so on. But the purpose is the same. To identify which topics, challenges, and problems your audience want you to tackle within your membership content. If you have a forum or a Facebook group, you can keep things simple. This kind of survey, this solicitation of feedback from your audience could be a case of you simply posting a question or a new topic in your group or forum for people to respond to. But if you want to go further and actually set up a more in-depth survey, you can use a service like surveymonkey.com or typeform.com in order to get this kind of feedback. Surveying your audience, getting that feedback is a key part in having a regular process of continuously finding ways to raise your game with your membership content. Something else very worth doing is actually spending time thinking about the organization of your content. This may seem like such an obvious thing, but it's often overlooked within memberships, particularly those with a large amount of varied types of content. There's a real risk of overwhelming your members if your content isn't well organized and easy to navigate. You could have the best content in the world, but it would be all for nothing if it's just too much for your members to wade through. If you're using WordPress for your membership site, you can make use of its built-in categories and tags to ring-fence different topics and content formats. You might also look at creating some sort of index or roadmap or learning path that gives members more direction through your content, showing them specifically where to start, where to go next, and so on as part of a linear path. That's something we do within Membership Academy with our own membership roadmap, where we've mapped out that process of planning, building, launching a membership site step by step as a way of ensuring people are consuming the most relevant content for the particular stage that they're at. So paying attention to the way in which you actually structure, organize, and present your content, while it's got nothing to do with actually improving what's in the content itself, actually just being thoughtful and putting effort into this can really, really alter the member experience and improve the likelihood that people will consume, they'll engage, they'll get results, and they'll stick around. Something else you should be doing to improve your content strategy is analyzing your existing free content as a means of informing your paid content. We always talk about how big fans we are of content marketing. It's often one of the most effective ways of promoting your membership. You're basically using free content to sell paid content. And so it stands to reason that you should be looking at your free content to find the things that most resonate with your audience and using that to inform what you actually create as content inside your membership. Make sure that you're on top of your stats in terms of which blogs, podcasts, videos, and so on are getting the best interaction, feedback, discussion, and social activity. This can sometimes be more valuable information than simply looking at traffic because it's a better indication of which topics and areas are hot button subjects that really will hit the mark with your members. Pay particular attention to any follow-up questions that your audience ask and look at ways that you can answer those questions and go further within your membership. So, using your free content to inform the choices you make around your paid content is a surefire approach that will really raise the standard of your membership content. The next tip is to show as well as tell. Keep in mind what we said about the fact that people join memberships in order to achieve an outcome, hit a goal, or access a solution to a problem. It stands to reason that actually showing people that this is possible and demonstrating how others have taken action is a great way to push your content to the next level and really show the value it has. So consider adding case studies, storytelling, specific examples of practical application of the theory, strategies, and tactics that you teach. Conduct interviews with success stories, other members who have followed your path and achieved the result they wanted, and share this stuff publicly on social, on your blog, and so on. As well as inspiring your members and adding credibility to your content, it will motivate them to actively consume and implement your content. And speaking of which, you need to ensure that you are encouraging action taking throughout your content. Information without action is merely entertainment. Your members will never hit their goals or solve their problem if they don't take steps to put into place what they're learning from your courses, your training sessions, and resources. And as such, they'll never fully realize the true value of your membership, and inevitably, they'll leave. So it's in your interest to ensure that your content leads to action. Provide exercises for members to complete, create workshops and activities, signpost what their next step should be, and look for ways in which you can hold your members accountable and ensure they're actually implementing rather than just consuming. So, I want to ask you, what will you do today to improve your membership content? Improving that content doesn't need to be a huge undertaking. A lot of the stuff we've covered doesn't necessarily take a whole load of work to actually implement. And small changes and improvements over time within your content strategy can make a huge difference. So I'd encourage you to think about the different techniques and tips that we've given you in this episode that will enable you to improve your membership content. Think about those and choose just one thing that you will focus on this week, and then go away and start taking action. Because as you said, raising the level of your membership content and making sure that you're not settling for good enough when it comes to that content is crucial to the long-term success of your membership. We want to be creating content that is higher quality, more accessible, and more effective. And by using some of the ideas we've given you in this episode, you can achieve all three. Hope you found today's episode useful. Hopefully it's inspired you to raise your game with your membership content. And I'm serious. I want you to think about what one thing that we've covered, whether it's updating and refreshing an out-of-date course, whether it's finding ways of adding in additional mediums and formats, adding a list of related resources, finding a way of connecting your community to your content, specific pieces of content to enable discussion, surveying your members, looking at how you're organizing your content, analyzing your free content to see what's resonating, putting together case studies, interviews, specific examples so you can show as well as tell, and taking steps to encourage action taking. Pick one of those things. Pick one of those things to focus on this week, to start action on today. I promise you, if you can raise the bar, if you can raise the standard of content in your membership, you'll differentiate your offering, you'll be providing extra value, a more positive, polished user experience, catering to more of your members, getting increased engagement, better results, and ensuring that your membership is up to date and relevant. Why wouldn't you want to do those things? All of this stuff will help your membership be more successful. That is it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's episode. Join me next week for another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks, and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership website. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.